Yo, isn't it crazy how we shot a $15,000 short with $0?
That's super crazy, bro. I don't know how we did it, but we made it happen. Let's talk about it. So tell me how the shoot even came about, bro. Like, how did you even meet these people?
So I met them through my viral TikTok. They got in contact with me and we bartered services, their marketing services for my cinematography services.
Okay.
And during the first shoot, everything went well until we got to the file transferring, and then all the audio files became corrupted.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how did that, what went through your mind when you noticed that the audio files got corrupted?
Honestly, I hit them up immediately. Like, I didn't even wait.
You didn't want to hide from it, just like, let's attack the elephant in the room.
Yeah, let's just attack the elephant in the room because, you know, we need a plan ASAP for something like that. I had a bad micro SD card. Unfortunately, that corrupted all the audio files. And honestly, I think the second shoot went better because not everyone was available for the second day to shoot, which left a lot more room in the space. So you can't really tell in the space, but it is very small.
It was tight. It was a tight space, but we definitely utilized everything for what it was. We definitely threw lights everywhere, but we made it intentional as well. So that's another thing that I love. But yeah, having less people, I mean, I wasn't there for the first shoot, but it seemed like with the amount of people we had, it seemed perfect. We had a perfect flow, in my opinion.
I think so too.
Okay.
Yeah, the first shoot, when it was too many people, you know, I was kind of anchored in one spot and I couldn't really direct how I wanted to because the room didn't allow me to. I couldn't even light how I wanted to. I had to go very minimal light setups, couldn't move lights around. So
I was gonna ask you a little bit about that. How do you feel like the lighting was the second time around, and how do you feel like it is working with somebody else on set?
Well, working with someone else on set, it definitely helps because you have someone that you could bounce ideas with. And with you specifically, you know, we've worked together consistently for probably about 2 years.
I would say almost 3 years.
3 years.
We done did a lot of projects together.
Yeah, like, we've done a lot of projects together. So also having that trust in your teammate. Yeah. You know, because this was a two-man production. Yeah. We did sound, we did gaffing, we did DPing.
We put a lot of hats on. We ACI, sound, AC, did Video Village. Well, basically DIT. Yeah, it's a lot of hats were threw on us. But I feel like we definitely managed the space really well.
I think we did too. From pre-production to post-production, it was all around a two-man team. I think the number one thing is that you and me, we own our gear.
Yeah.
Like, we don't rent.
We're owner-operators, so I feel like that's amazing. We have the gear. We don't need to talk to a rental house. We don't need to talk to anybody about borrowing things. We have our gear. We can control it. The flexibility and the range is definitely there. It definitely costs more, but in the long run, you just have so much more freedom being an owner-operator.
How much money you think we had in that room?
We had at least like $30,000 in that room. We had a lot of cameras. We had a lot of lenses.
So the two main cameras that we used was the FX6, the FX3.
Okay.
I brought, for audio, I brought the Tascam X6.
Okay.
And
the 32-bit float. Yeah,
the 32-bit float. I also brought the Rode NTG3. For the lighting, we only used the Amaran 200X.
Yes.
I brought it, but you were going crazy. You was pretty much gaffing the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I got very inspired with that project. So like seeing how we first got the first few frames, it looked good, and I was like, no, we can do better. Like I know I feel more for this. So I just auditioned moving the lights different places, and I noticed that once we got that area, once we hit that moment, I was like, I hit flow state. I wanted to stay in it. And every shot that followed from that like first shot, I feel like we really got to take our time in setting it up, and it shows that it's a labor of love.
And then me and Carl also brought our Aputure MCs that we were just putting all over the places. MCs. Yeah, even though the space was small, the ambient light was really good. The lenses that we used throughout the shoot, we used We used your 35, right?
We used my 35.
We used your 35. We used the
90mm macro.
Macro. We used my 85mm Aura.
Yep. Your Surrey lens.
So when it came down to actually directing the talent, this was fairly easy. I believe a director only has to say something when something needs to be corrected, really. Yeah. And honestly, the people that we had come in, they had theater background, and I'm not gonna lie, they killed it.
Yeah.
So it was honestly little to no direction that they really needed besides their positioning. And I think that allowed us to wear one less hat and actually focus on the vision of the story.
Usually on set, I feel like I have to do a lot of work in getting talent on their marks, and definitely giving them different beats to do throughout the action. I felt like with them it came flawlessly. They made their own beats. They improv'd some of the scenes, and it actually came out really good.
There were two actors that came back, but the main one that I really wanted back was the host. I'm not gonna lie, in the first shoot, she killed it as the host. I said, prioritize her schedule. I need to make sure she's on the second shoot.
She gotta be back. She got the call back.
She definitely got the call back. She killed it.
Would you do anything differently if you could do it all over again?
What I do?
Definitely, if there's one thing, we'd still corrupt that footage, because this was a happy accident.
I would corrupt that footage 1,000 times if it meant that I could create what we created.
Yeah.
What would I do differently though? I think I would change the amount of time that we had, even though we shot for a long time.
Yeah.
We shot for a very long time, but it was just, when I got to the editing process, it was certain shots that I seen in my head that I didn't see on set.
You did also have a shot list, and then some of the shots that you had were changed on the day. So I think also like realizing that, giving yourself grace with that, because there was no shot list. There wasn't anything really defined. There was like a general shot list of these are the same shots we want to do, but definitely it was a lot of like creatively like, oh, let's rig this to this, and let's do this to this, especially the cup shot. Let's talk about your favorite shots, actually. Let's segue into that. Tell me about what were your favorite shots on that shoot. One
of my favorite shots was when we used the 90mm macro and we were getting like the close-ups of the magazines.
Brother, if Ramon was here right now, he would say all my days, because that was that macro shot did everything that I wanted it to do. I feel like even you thinking in the moment like, hey, let's go top down, let's get the 90mm and let's really like get some macro shots. That wasn't something that I was thinking of at the time, in the moment. Like definitely when you told me about the party cup, a favorite shot for me is the party cup rig, because I rigged that up so easily. For me, it felt like it was easy to rig. And then when you first saw it, you were a little skeptical, like, can we pour liquid in there? And I was like, trust.
Yeah, nah, that was a ghetto rig right there.
Trust, bro. We can put some. I've done this time and time again. We can pour something in there. They could take a sip out of that cup if they needed to.
Nah, that rig was kind of crazy though. I ain't gonna lie.
It was a little crazy, but hey, you got enough magic arms and you make them secure, they're gonna do everything you want them to do.
I really like the close-up on the face, and I also like how you were kind of in my head about it without me even saying anything. He kind of seen my vision and I even really had to say nothing about it. So pretty much the shot was a static shot, and I wanted her to walk into focus. And without me even saying anything, Carl just said it. I was like, I bet. this is why I work with Carl, because he's like always in my head.
Each other's head, yeah. But that's why I love working with you, bro, because there's shots that I don't even like think about, and then you're like, hey, we should try this, and I was like, bro, my brain just exploded. So I definitely feel like it's really good to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, because in the moment, even if you're operating, I think you get a level of fatigue after operating for so long. So maybe let's say we're on an 8-hour shoot, 12-hour shoot. If I'm operating and you're doing something else, so we're both operating in tandem, I feel like having somebody who has a fresh brain, who's not holding something, will definitely be able to like get some creative aspects and like, oh, maybe there's an idea we should do, or this we should do.
Yeah, because I feel like the shoot that we did, just having 2 people, you'll usually need like at least 6 people for what we did with just 2, and I think it was just The fact that we were just locked in, laser focused on what we was doing, and there wasn't like really any room for error with this being a reshoot. So I appreciate you coming in and just helping me out with that as well. The less hats you're able to wear on the shoot, the more you're able to focus on your key position.
How do you feel like creatively, do you feel like you creatively had the space to do everything that you wanted? How was it? Because you know, when we came in for the second shoot, for the reshoot, we did change shots. How do you feel like that went? How was that conversation?
The original shoot wasn't in the living room at first. It was like in the kitchen area, like on the island. And when we came in to film that day, they were kind of married to it. Yeah. And then when I seen that it was a lot less people, I said, okay, I really want to shoot on this couch. And Carl helped me convince them when we started like framing, and you gave them director's monitor and they was able to see it. It made me realize the importance of a director's monitor as well.
Yeah. I feel like we really don't want clients like hovering over our shoulder trying to see the image or feel the frame. I think that just being able to say, hey, hold this. You can see exactly what I see without being over me, so you have that peace of mind, kind of just gives another level of comfort. And I feel like when you give another level of comfort, it kind of eases you in to like make changes, creative changes. So I mean, that was a lot, bro. Tell us where we can find you.
Well, y'all can find me here on YouTube, or you could follow me on Instagram, mjay.ww. What about you? Where we find you at?
I'm on Instagram, Carl Flacco, and I'm also on YouTube, Carl Flacco. Come tap in.
All right.